everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to give some tips for parents and teenagers about dating. I'm Rita and today it's all about you. The first thing that parents have to realize is that dating is normal and healthy for a teenager development. And if this is something that is new for you as a parent, the first thing that you have to concern is to make sure that you will have the talk about all of these things. So it's important that you have a talk with your teenager about relationships, about intimacy, about sex. Even if it's awkward or uncomfortable for you, you have to have this kind of conversation. It's important for nowadays that you will talk about the consensual issue, talk about violence, talk about behaviors, red flags, and also things about intimacy and things about relationship and things about behavior with your teen. It's important that you will have this conversation and that you will feel free to ask any kind of questions if you have doubts. You can also use this conversation to both of you establish some rules about this new phase in your teenager life and this new experience. So both of you should agree in some rules about the dating time and the intimacy relationship. Understand that your teenagers have the need to have privacy and respect. So it's important that you start to see your teenager not as a little kid or as a little child, but as a future adult with all the needs of an adult. So you have to give him privacy and you have to respect his own emotions, his own feelings, and even these wishes of privacy or even other ones that are related to their own well-being. All the time try to be open-minded and not judgmental. This is very important for a teenager. He needs a guidance, not really somebody that is constantly judging him. And he needs to understand that you have a constant open door every time that he needs to talk about something. Try to make casual conversations and transform them into more significant ones. So it's important that you create some rules, as we see before, even these rules that can apply to your teenager when he is going out, with whom and with which kind of persons he is trying to have these intimate relationships. Try to understand that it's important your support for your teenager, no matter what kind of gender identity or sexuality that he will have. And it's important that you will keep in mind that you have to be open and you have to be there for your teenager, and so you need to act accordingly and even have the time to spend some quality time with your teenager and have these important conversations and have this and give him your all support. Another thing that is important for a parent to understand is that pornography is something that you will not be able to avoid your teenagers to watch. So it's important that you at the same time that you are aware of this fact that maybe this will be another thing that make you talk about these kind of things with your teenager. Make him understand that what he is watching in a porn site or in a porn movie, it's totally different from what he's experienced in reality. So make him understand that what he's watching is actually just a movie, and the people are actually acting in a certain way, and that this doesn't really apply to reality and shouldn't, because most of pornography nowadays are full of violence, and this should not be an example for our teenagers. I'm not against a teenager to watch pornography, but I'm against the idea that this kind of videos or movies can transmit to a person that starts these kind of experiences. And the last thing I want to tell you as a parent is that remember again that your teenager, like when he was a child, he will have you as a role model. So understand that all your behaviors in your relationships, and I mean all of them, they will affect the way your teenager will act in their own relationships. So it's important that you will be a good role model, that you are aware of the values that you want to share with your teenager, and that you can be able to maintain a relationship or several relationships with the behavior accordingly to these your own values. For you as a teenager, understand that you will only can feel ready to have a relationship when you don't need this relationship to feel happy. So you will be ready for having an intimacy experience when this will not be the main thing of your life to make you happy. You have to have other things that really makes you happy. Remember that love is not just a feeling. Love is what you feel, but also your values, your beliefs, and mainly what you do. So it's important that you always react and behave with your partner as a loving person and according to your own values and according to positive acts and positive behaviors. You should change if you feel like and if you want, not because other people want it or because your group of friends think you have to change. You only change if you want. You are the only person that can change yourself, and the only reason you have to want to change is yourself. So don't change for others, change for you, and remember that you are the only person that can change. You are the only person that has that power. If you are starting a new relationship, try to see if this relationship is the one that you want to be for a long term. So try to see and to imagine yourself in this relationship for a longer period of time, because if you are not entered in a new relationship with the mindset that this can be a long-term relationship, and I'm not telling you that this can be for the rest of your life, I'm just telling you that this should not end tomorrow, and if you are certain about this, so it means that you are ready to have an intimate relationship and a romantic experience. Relationships in the beginning, they must be pink or blue skies or whatever you want to call them. They must be beautiful, they must be smooth, and they don't have to be something that causes you any kind of pain, but only good feelings and good emotions. So if your relationship that you eventually is starting, it doesn't have this feeling, this good vibe, these good emotions, don't even start to engage in this kind of relationships. Nowadays, it's very easy for any kind of relationship to just end in a spiral of aggressiveness and violence. And if your relationship is not really beginning in a good way, it doesn't mean that you have to keep trying. So stop for a while and understand that maybe it's time to not be in this kind of relationships. Another thing that I want to tell you personally is anytime that you don't feel well, that you don't feel good about yourself, that you don't feel that you are in a positive relationship, walk away. You don't have to be in a place or in a relationship that you don't feel good about yourself, that you don't feel good about your partner, that you feel that things are not in place. So go and listen to your guts and understand that if you feel that something is not okay, just end it. It is normal when the first problems will come between some kind of relationship, some kind of romantic relationship that you will start. These problems can cause some issues in your relationship, and these issues can even lead to the end of relationship. Don't feel sad about this. This means that your relationship was not built in a secure base. It means that your relationship was not strong enough, and maybe both of you were not really ready to just deal with this kind of problems. So just understand that you just have an experience that was positive, and that you can learn many things from them, but at the same time you can learn many positive things from it, but at the same time understand that if it's ending, it was because it was not mature enough to just keep going. If you don't want to fall for another person, don't sleep too many times with her. This means that it's really difficult to stay disattached in an emotional way, in a romantic way to a person. If you sleep with this person, it's very common that sooner or later you will always have these kind of feelings. So if you really want to avoid to fall in love for somebody, think about this before you start to sleep with this person. When in doubt, and I believe that in a relationship, when you start a new relationship and when you start this new experience in your life, of course you will have lots of doubts and questions in your mind, but every time that you will have them, just go by your gut. So listen to your head and do and act according to what you think is right. And the last thing I want to tell you is something that I see in mature relationships a lot, and it doesn't mean that it has to be relationships between teens, but this happens a lot. Even between adults, it's the individuality in the relationship. It's important that you understand that before you meet the other person, before your partner, before that relationship, before this romance, you were a person and you still are a person. And it's important that you assume this for yourself and that you and your partner establish some rules about this. It's important that you will have your individuality. It's important that you have your moments with your friends, and it's important that you have your moments by yourself. You don't have to be and do everything with your partner just because you are in a relationship. This doesn't work in a long time or in a long-term relationship. What really works is when you let your partner go, and when your relationship is based on trust and honesty, enough for you to feel comfortable with your own individuality, and of course respecting the individuality of your partner too. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you like it. I hope you subscribe to the channel, leave a thumbs up, share with a friend, comment if you want, and next time it will be the last video of this theme about teenagers dating, and I really want to talk about red flags in relationships. I think it's one of the most important things for our teenagers to learn and to understand is when a relationship or some kind of behavior in a relationship can really turn into a red flag. So I'll see you next time. Bye.